This episode of WDW Today is being sponsored by MEI and Mouse Fan Travel. If you're planning a trip to Walt Disney World soon and want to have an expert help plan your trip for you, I mean, planning a trip to Walt Disney World is never easy, and certainly you're going to want to have maybe some help in it. Maybe you've got some questions. They can help you answer those questions, and a lot faster than we'll get to your email more than likely. So why not give them a try? Visit them online at www.mousefantravel.com.
This is Walt Disney World Today. Give us 5 minutes and we'll give you the world.
It's Wednesday, June 17th, 2009, and this is episode 579 of WDW Today. I'm Matt Hochberg of StudioCentral.com. Joining me on today's show is Len Testa, co-author of The Unofficial Guide to Walt Disney World. And Len, I was doing some reading, and I hear there's a new band called Chickenfoot, which features Sammy Hagar, of course, of Van Halen fame, bassist Michael Anthony, of course, of also Van Halen, and a few people from the Red Hot Chili Peppers. So, Len, does this have the official Len Testa seal of approval?
It does, actually. It does. I'm happy to see everyone, all former members of Van Halen, doing well.
So does Michael Anthony being in this band mean the end of Van Halen?
You know, the thing that I'm glad Mike's doing stuff. The thing that bothers me is that he's not on the Van Halen Guitar Hero thing coming out. That really kind of sticks in my craw.
Yeah, I know there are many people out there that's saying, "No, Michael Anthony, why are you forsaking me?"
I can totally see no Gary Sharon. I can kinda, sorta, maybe see my way to no Sammy and, you know, the inclusion of Wolfie, but no Michael Anthony is, I don't know, man. I don't know. Just doesn't seem, you know, my motto is stay classy, San Diego, right? You know that. I know that. Exactly. I'm just saying, it doesn't sound classy to me.
Also joining us on today's show is Mike Newell of Mouse World Radio. Hi, Mike.
I'm a little disappointed that you didn't mention the most important member of Chickenfoot, which is Joe Satriani.
Satriani. Did you see the interview with him? He's awesome.
He is awesome, and he's a great guitarist. And the fact that everyone neglected him, I'm just not happy about it.
I know. Well, speaking of neglect, I have neglected to mention my love for Mouse World Radio on the iPhone with Live 365.
Let me
just, if anyone from Apple is listening, it's the only reason I'm upgrading my iPhone this week.
Yes, I'm getting my wife an iPhone on Friday, and we're driving back from Atlanta on Sunday, and I have a feeling Mouse World Radio will be along for the ride.
I actually got it to the point where I play it so often, I think the battery's going to melt. I picked it up the other day. I'm like, I can cook chicken on this thing. It's so hot.
Nice.
It's Wednesday, and we're answering your listener questions, and our first email is from Kathy Pierce, who writes, "Hello, all. This is an email I sent to Disney regarding the Fantasmic and Hollywood Studio hour cuts. I'm displeased with their answers. Any further suggestions?" And here's their email. She wrote an email complaining about the cut of Fantasmic at the studios, and Disney wrote back. It says, "Dear Kathy, thank you for contacting the Walt Disney World Resort. Starting on the Walt," they explained the thing. Anyway, basically, this is what they said. She complained about the cut in Fantasmic, and Disney wrote back. Starting on DisneyWorld.com homepage, scroll to the bottom of the page and select Theme Parks and Water Parks in the Discover Walt Disney World column. Now select a theme park and click. After the page loads, on the left-hand side, click on Calendars. Select the month of your visit in the View Month box. Then click on a specific date for a listing of parades, fireworks, and entertainment scheduled for that day.
She's got carpal tunnel by this time. Yeah. Not to mention, it doesn't actually answer her question.
Yeah, she didn't say, "I can't locate the hours." There are no hours.
I'm totally going to do that when people call me up now and ask me questions. I'm going to be like, grab your mouse and click the left button. Like at some random screen.
Well, Disney, I think, prescribes to what politicians do. And the trick for politicians is if you get a question, when someone asks you a question, you answer the question you wanted them to ask, not the question they actually did ask you. Anyway, very nice. Thanks for the email. Next email is from Lee, who writes, Veronica Snyder suggested I sent you my question. My partner and I will be in Disney World on Christmas Day and would like to eat at the California Grill.
Sorry, go ahead.
This raises two questions. First, can non-resort guests even make reservations during such a busy time? Yes. Everyone's just subject to the same 90-day window. Second, is the 90-day out rule still in effect for reservations? Yes.
Yes.
And what time each day do the reservations open up?
7 a.m. Eastern.
7 a.m. Eastern. That's right. Hope that helps you out there, Lee, and say hi to Veronica for us. Next email is from Liam Collerton. All right, hi, guys. Greetings from one of your British listeners. Insert standard multiple sucking up over quality of show here. We're coming over to Walt Disney World from the United Kingdom in August 2009. I'll be the pale, vampire-like individual trying desperately to keep my porcelain white British skin out of the sunlight.
Translucent, I believe is the word.
As American beer contains a laughable amount of alcohol, I'll be using it to keep hydrated.
Using it like water.
While listening to your classic Sip, Snack, and Bulimia episode, I had a great idea to combine my hobbies of marathons and Disney. Merely eating around the world seems a bit lightweight, and drinking around the world is nothing to a nation that was on time for both world wars. So I offer to you the challenge of around the world gluttony, drinking, then eating around the world. Begin with Moosehead Pale Ale and finish with margaritas, then back around for refried beans to maple syrup. Nothing stimulates an appetite like excessive alcohol consumption. Let me know if you're interested so I can stock up with 6 bags from the flight over. While you mull over that daunting prospect, I do have a question for Len. I saw on Amazon that the 2010 edition of the Good Book is being published on August 24th. Will I be able to pick it up while we are there? We'll be there till the 31st.
Yeah, if you want to, I would actually pre-order it from Amazon and have it shipped to your resort if that's what you want to do. The only thing is that there's no guarantee that you're going to be among the first to get it delivered.
Yeah,
that's going to be tough.
You're not going to be able to get it on Disney World property. You have to
not on Disney World property. They're not going to have it. Although Disney in Disneyland at Downtown Disney they will, but they won't at World. So probably not. Incidentally, I just got the cover art for the 2000 edition. You will never guess in a million years which attraction is on the cover of this year's book.
Oh no! Please don't say it's that Stitch Supersonic.
No.
Good.
But that actually got gutted. Did you hear?
Yeah,
they've already shut it down.
I saw the tweet.
Maelstrom?
No, it's an Animal Kingdom attraction.
Ugh. All right, anyway, I'll leave I don't want to ruin the surprise for people, so I'll wait for the complaint emails on the show. Next email is from Greg from New Jersey. He writes, "Hi guys, I've only started listening, but I've fallen in love with the podcast. Keep up the good work. My question is about a trip I'm planning for September 27th to October 3rd. The unofficial guide has these dates all ranging from a 4 to a 6, and my girlfriend and I are really excited about the prospect of a virtually empty park. However, when we went to book our reservations for Pop Century, there were no rooms available. We've instead booked at movies. Does the crowd forecast hold true? Does the sold-out Pop Century indicate very large crowds, or during that time of the year, do they reduce the capacity at Pop Century, making it easier for it to book up? What should I expect? Thanks again for answering my questions, and feel free to insert the obligatory Star Wars or park attraction reference of your choosing here."
Nice. So the thing to remember is that most Disney resorts are at least 80% occupied all the time. So even when they do things like free dining, there's not a whole lot of extra space for the people to go anyway. Now, obviously, the recession's playing into it a little bit, and the fact that kids are back in school in September means there's a little bit more capacity. But in general, sales and things like that don't have much capacity to any individual. Don't add that many people to any individual resort. So yeah, I'm pretty confident with. I think Fred's forecasting 4s and 5s with the occasional slightly higher number for that time period.
Absolutely, September's a dead time of the year. I would not worry about crowds at all.
Yeah, I mean, and I'm sure I'm almost positive Disney's going to extend free dining, which is already on during most of those dates anyway. So cool. Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it at all. In fact, I'm trying to head down in September actually.
Nice.
Just to take advantage of the low crowds and get in a not so scary Halloween party.
Absolutely.
Yeah, cool.
Next email is from Craig of the United Kingdom, who writes, "Hi, Matt and all his team. So how many of you were original Rad peers, and do you remember having a TDC name? I was and did have one. I was and suppose still am. It's TDC Walk Around the World Bricklayer, Spectre Magic Light Bulb Replacer, and the originator of Mickey Mania. But I can't remember what TDC was for. What was yours and other listeners?" For those who have no idea, RADP, of course, is Rec.Arts at Disney Parks, which was a Disney news group. And a little WDW Today trivia, RADP is how I met Len. Do you remember that, Len?
Is that how we met?
I posted a question on there, and you were an intern for the Unofficial Guide, and you wrote me back.
Oh, that's right. Something about you getting your pantsuit off or something like that.
Oh, that was before. That was after that. Yeah, but actually,
was that after that?
Yeah, that was.
Yeah,
I remember that one too. If you search for Len Testa, Matt Hochberg lawsuit, I think you'll find the post over there where you say, like, "I like you, Matt, but you're going to ask him for a cease and desist or something."
It's right. You used the term cease and desist. I didn't I? That's awesome.
But anyway, obviously, I used RADP. I was more of a lurker than anything. I had no clue how to get one of those little TDC names. What about you, Len?
No, I never did anything like that. But that was back in the day. Now,
yeah, that was. What about you, Newell? Did you ever go on RADP?
I did, but I was a lurker as well. I never posted over there.
Yeah, I tried. I would have liked to have gotten a name. I just didn't know what the mechanism was. It seemed like you had to be like ordained by, a monarch somewhere in order to get the name. Anyway, next email is from Marjorie of New York. Writes, planning my trip for 2010 and have invited my mother, stepfather to come with me so they could be with my 2 children. Both of them are retired, and my mom has trouble walking on her leg. Myself and my boyfriend, spent all day in the parks from early morning till late at night. My mom and stepfather will want to go back to the hotel for a rest or just stay in for the night. How can I keep the trip going smoothly when we will be in separate locations? I think, first of all, staying on site is going to be a big boon to you, so that way you can take, those who want to leave early can take Disney transportation.
It's going to be all about Disney transportation.
Yeah. The other thing is just have make sure one group has a cell phone, the other group has a cell phone, and that way you can keep in contact with each other. Say, hey, just give me a call if you're to the group that's going back. Give us a call when you're ready to go back, or we'll call you if we are coming back. So that way you can stay in communication. But otherwise, Disney transportation is great. So that way you don't have to worry about shuttling people back and forth or whatever. They can just say, hey, take the bus back, and you won't have any issue.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Very good.
But by the way, my first Red P post dates back to 1994.
94. Wow, you totally.
94.
I think mine was. I think my first one was like 2000.
Oh my God, you guys are young.
94.
I was on Prodigy in 92, and before that, I was on. It was called Genie or Genie. Yeah. It was run by GE.
They were saying like DARPANET, like you and like Steve.
DARPANET, exactly.
Yeah.
you and the Pentagon were developing it, and you wrote, "Missile system looks good." P.S. Anyone been to Magic Kingdom lately?
Oh my God! And what was the other one? What was the other big one that was around in mid '80s? I was on it. CompuServe.
Oh, CompuServe.
Yeah.
Very cool. Next email is from William Tracy, and back in episode 510, we were trying to determine the original location of the barbershop. And William writes, Magic Kingdom's old-fashioned Harmony barbershop was tucked away at the end of the cul-de-sac just off the west side of Main Street. So
is that by the on the side of the fire station?
Yes. I believe that's what he's referring to.
Yes.
Next email is from Monique from Walpole, Massachusetts. Writes, hi, Matt, Mike, and Len. I could really use your help for a good idea. You see, my husband and I have conspired with my mom, and we are flying down to Florida to surprise my dad on his 60th birthday. He has no idea that we're coming. And ideally, he won't until he shows up at the park of his choice that morning and finds us there waiting for him. I'd like to do a little something extra to bring attention to his birthday that ideally wouldn't cost too much because, 1, we already have a gift, and 2, this will be our second trip down in 4 months, and the flights this past Christmas cost a fortune. Can you get a happy birthday balloons or swag at your resort? If you do, will security allow you into the parks with them? Can you think of any other fun ways we can embarrass him, draw attention to him, or give him a treat while on a budget? We have dinner reservations at Boma, his favorite restaurant, that night, so food is covered. In case it helps, we'll be staying at All-Star Sports. Sorry, Scopa Towers cost twice as much, though perhaps we'll get there someday.
What do they want to bring into the parks?
Well, they want to know if they can bring happy birthday stuff. They want to get like happy birthday balloons. Well, you can get the happy birthday button at your resort, Monique. That's not an issue. You just go to front desk and ask for them. They'll easily give those to you.
Yeah, bring a balloon in. I don't think there'd be any problem bringing balloons into the park.
I disagree. I bet there might be because they're trying to sell balloons too.
Oh, but if you bring it from a resort.
Yeah, I don't think it'd be an issue, though. Even if you went to Walmart and got a happy birthday balloon and
yeah, and what if you brought it from another park?
I don't think that's the issue.
I don't think it'd be a problem.
I think the store-bought balloons are going to be an issue as opposed to something you bought in another park.
I just can't imagine that anyone's going to enforce it that tightly.
Yeah, seriously. I mean,
if you're bringing a turkey from out of,
but you're reading that.
Okay, well, I think you should try and see what happens.
We should try. We should.
This would be like Stump the Chumps on Car Talk, where people call back in and tell us whether we were right.
We should really try it just to see.
Oh, by the way, my earliest Red P post, November 29th, 1993.
Wow. What was the subject of it?
Answering the question as to whether Mickey and Minnie are married in real life.
What was your answer? I have to know.
I said, I think that Walt or one of his animators answered this question in Encyclopedia of Disney Characters. The response was something like, Mickey and Minnie are married in real life. However, occasionally in films they are cast as boyfriend-girlfriend. Therefore, you may assume that the separate houses are props. The original question was asking why, if Mickey and Minnie are married, they live in separate houses.
Ah.
Wow.
And they actually closed it with a tri-circle with 3 O's.
Oh, how cute.
I know. Guys, that's 15 and a half years.
Wow. Next email is from Toby Landry of Franklin, Louisiana. Writes, hello, lady and gentlemen. Greatly appreciate everyone sharing
Totally be the Tramps.
everyone sharing their thoughts and experiences. Your enthusiasm keeps me excited until my family's next trip to the world. We average a trip every 2 years due to scheduling and finances. Being this said, if you only had 1 week during the year to go to the world, when would that be? What would be your criteria in picking this week for each of you?
Bird in hand, two in the bush. Right now, let's go.
What about you, Newell?
I would say mid to late October.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
My favorite time of the year is still the first weekend in February. Always my favorite. Great weather, low crowds. That's what always did it for me.
What about the third week of December? Although it can get chilly. No, I'll stick with my October answer.
And also cheap airfare also during the first flies in February.
Yeah, it's true. It's true. Although Southwest is still having sales.
There you go.
Yeah.
Next email is from Neil Alexander, who writes, "Hey, Matt, Mike, Len, and Annette. Love the show. I have a question about Child Swap. My wife and my 2 daughters, ages 8 and almost 2, and myself, are going to the world in May. Sorry, Scopa, but yeah, we are taking the 2-year-old. Can you explain a little better how the Child Swap works? My question really centers around this. Will both my wife and I be able to ride the rides with the 8-year-old? For instance, my oldest daughter and I ride Soarin' while my wife and daughter wait outside. Will they let my wife and oldest daughter then ride, or will they just let my wife ride? Does that make sense? Hope you can answer my question before we leave. Please don't make me email the long-winded guy and get an answer 2 hours into the podcast. Thanks, and keep it up. And you guys are great and help me get through the work week and keep me always laughing." Well, Neil, yeah, basically how it works is you go into the first you go to Cast and say, would like to do Child Swap. So they'll give you what's known as a rider switch ticket. Now, what this means is you've got the 2-year-old, which won't ride at all. Somebody has to wait with the 2-year-old, most likely your wife in this case. So what your 2 and your other daughter can actually go ride the first time. You go through the regular line. You come out. Then your wife and your 8-year-old daughter can ride again with the rider swap ticket. And they'll go ride. They'll actually go through the Fast Pass line with the rider swap while you wait with the kid. It's really great. Actually, it's going to work out real well for your 8-year-old because she'll be able to ride twice. So I hope that answers the question right there.
Awesome.
Next email is from Ryan Heath of Galesburg, Illinois. Who writes, "Salutations, gentlemen, Annette, and Testa.
Yeah, whatever. I'll take that.
Recently, I did the most peculiar thing. I listened to your amazing, awe-inspiring podcast and then promptly put in Animal House to watch with a few of my friends, as is the obligatory college thing to do. Midway through the movie, it hit me. I saw the WDW Today crew as characters in Animal House. To give you a few character comparisons, Boone reminded me of Hotchberg, Flounder is dead on for Newell, and John Blutarski is none other than the Len Testa.
Was it over when the Germans bombed Pearl Harbor? No, it's not over now. Who's with me?
Although I'm not quite sure who to list Dr. Scopa as and the Fabulous Annette. I was originally considering Dean Wormer for Mr. Scopa, but then remembering that he had been an English teacher at one point, I thought about Professor Jennings. However, I'm not fully satisfied with either of these choices. Just thought of you guys and Miguel might be amused at the thought of it, and I hope you get a laugh out of this, even if it doesn't make it on the show.
I don't know if I'm so amused at the choices myself, including mine.
You don't like being Flounder?
Would you?
I guess not. Well, it could be worse. It could be the Kevin Bacon character.
I don't know if that's so much worse.
the guy in ROTC. I
have to think about that.
I'm sure one of our listeners will nail it in the listener comments. If you've got an idea, just go to the WDWtoday.com and let us know who you think Scopa and Annette would be in the show. And keep it PC, please.
And me.
And Newell. Newell wants recasting. So, next email is from Ron Strausser of Coos Bay, Oregon. Who writes, "Hi, Annette, Mike, Len, and Scopa. The family is going to the world for a week, and it's going to be for my son's birthday. Woo! On his birthday, me and him are going on the Steam Train tour when we get there before the park opens. After the tour, where should we go to pick up his gift card? Do we have to go back out to the gates to get it? Thank you so much. Can't wait to go walk through and only walk through to see Build a Scopa at T-Rex."
That's a Build a Scopa. You get with the spear accessory, with the leopard loincloth accessory.
Right.
Totally see that.
That's Wednesday outfit, I believe.
Those Wednesday outfits. It's funny when Scopa goes by on Spaceship Earth and sees the guys around the woolly mammoth. He's like, "I told those guys how to do this, and they never follow directions." I think you can go to City Hall. Yeah, I'd be surprised if you have to go all the way out to guest relations.
I want to say you have to go out to guest relations to do it, as I recall, but I'm not sure. I would stop at City Hall first, obviously. You can save yourself a trip.
Yeah.
But there is a guest relations though window, obviously still in the park, so they can hopefully help you out over there.
Yeah.
Next email is from.
Some good questions.
Yeah, except this person didn't leave their name. Remember, name and where you're from in your emails, please. Whoever this is wrote, question regarding the unofficial guide crowd calendar on tournaplans.com.
Yep.
Back in August 2008, when I booked my trip for 2009, I planned my trip around the best parks to go on that day. Now just 17 days left, and want to recheck the days has totally changed. I noticed.
Yeah.
So what gives? What made this change in crowd calendar?
So there are a couple of things that go into it. One is that more than 90 days out, Disney's not yet set the extra magic hour schedule, and that plays a lot into what we would recommend for parks. The other thing is that we are constantly looking at how things like changes in park hours or changes in weekend and weekday hotel rates affect crowds. So we're constantly changing those things, and we're always getting feedback from people. We're getting feedback from people on an hourly basis now in the parks, and those go into our recommendations as well. I will say that it's Fred is constantly working on the calendar. He's improved it about the accuracy of the crowd calendar about 10% over the last year, which is really good considering how accurate the crowd calendar was to begin with. So it's just that we make these last minute changes as we get more data. Hopefully it's minimized, but and it should stabilize over time. But that's why it changes.
Absolutely.
Anything more than 90 days out, it's really depends on Disney. Anything within 90 days, it's usually stuff that we've learned about how people are behaving.
I think also it was a bit of a challenge for you, Len, in the first quarter of this year, given that the economy changed so much between summer 2008 and even February 2009.
Right. So a good point. So the other thing is and Disney's actually said this on their calls to when they do conference calls with investors. They're saying that people are now booking 4 to 6 weeks out instead of 4 to 6 months out. So you'll see Disney actually changing the park hours. Like there were days even in May where Disney just spontaneously extended the park hours for the Magic Kingdom. Like at 6 p.m. they decided to tell everyone, oh, by the way, we're going to stay open until midnight now instead of closing at 9 p.m. And that's because the crowds are they're not even able to predict the crowds because people are making more of these last minute short trips.
Right.
And we're subject to the same things.
Next email's from Megan in Atlanta, Georgia. Writes, in an older podcast, the listener was asking a question about a job within Disney, and you discussed how Disney usually hires from inside the company. I'm currently a sophomore in college majoring in marketing, and it would be my dream to work for corporate Disney as a marketing executive. I thought a lot about the Disney College program since it's the first step into a professional internship, and hopefully a decent paying job. While I've heard a lot of positive things about the program, there's a lot of criticism about the program using college students for cheap labor. Do you think this program is necessary to snatch a job in corporate Disney? Thanks so much, and I love listening to the podcasts. Megan, I think you'd be perfect for the college program. I think I know a lot of people have gone through it, and I've only heard great things about it. I mean, yeah, you're gonna work long hours and you get paid very little for it.
I mean, any internship, right? Yep. Any internship in a major corporation, long hours, not much money.
Yeah, but the truth of the matter is that the people who do it enjoy it, really. And if you're the type of person who listens to this show, I think you're going to be the kind of person who gets the whole Disney thing and would actually enjoy it. I mean, here's the thing. Your college program is going to be in something completely unrelated to your major. If you're a marketing major, you'll probably end up like doing parking at Blizzard Beach, which has nothing to do with it.
Okay.
But when you go into your professional internship after, you can actually target something that's actually relevant to what you're doing in marketing or something along those lines. Certainly more relevant than parking. But at least you can get a good idea of what you're going to be doing, and I really think you'll enjoy it. So definitely give it a try. See if the college program is coming to your campus. They come to many, many campuses. Visit them and see what they have to say. I mean, don't talk to them. I think you'll really enjoy it. So
here's the one piece of career advice that I would give everyone that asked. Dear God, do what you like before you do what you need to do for the money.
Oh yeah.
Right. So pick a job that you like rather than a job that pays better, because over time it's a much better investment.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So I like. It was funny. My boss was. I got a new boss at work, and one of the questions that they asked me is, well, what did you want to be when you grow up? I said, I wanted to be essentially what I'm doing now, and it's really. And I can't understand people who. I understand why it happens that people don't pursue their jobs, but yeah, I couldn't imagine having to work at a job that I didn't like every day. That would suck.
Right.
So, so it's really, I enjoy going into work. I like being there, and I think it shows in my performance. So if there's one thing I could tell people, it's especially when you're young, just go, even if you take a few years, just go try something that you like before you try something that you think you have to do.
Absolutely. And I'll add one more thing about Disney, about getting a job later on. And that's with Disney. And this, I think, is true for many major corporations. It's not what you know, it's who you know. And the best you can do is always network. And being in a college program, you never know who you're going to meet, who's just a lowly manager who turns out to be a big shot later on. So
yeah,
can only help you.
Like when we met Mangello that time.
That's right. Next email is from Rich from Youngstown, Ohio.
Woo! Go Penguins! Hey, Rich.
Who writes, in episode 515, Deluxe Resorts, that was a great show. It brought me back to a lovely romantic walk my fiance and I shared at the Polynesian last February. Romantic, that is, until we started walking back from the beach and saw a little boy in one of those guest rooms, I'm guessing about 4 years old, jumping on the bed naked except for what appeared to be a pajama pants on his head. So a bit of advice, if you're going to jump around your room naked, make sure that the whole world can't see you, and make sure you pull the shades down. Thanks for all the great advice over the years. I can't believe I've been along for the ride since episode 6.
Wait, let me write that down.
Yeah, you remember that?
Make sure.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, the pants on the head thing.
Yeah, Newell. Words to live by.
I just wrote it down. Mental note.
Yeah,
nice.
Rich has been around forever. Remember, he wrote us with one of the first set of questions that we had.
Absolutely.
Yes, I believe I actually said "Go Penguins" then too.
And so it began.
And so yeah, good to hear from you, Rich.
Next email is from Beth Anderson of Michigan. Writes, hello everyone. I've been listening for a while now, but have never had never had a question until now. I'm listening to episode 518 about water parks, which made me wonder whether the locals frequent Typhoon Lagoon and or Blizzard Beach, and if so, how much? My husband and I visited Typhoon Lagoon on the Tuesday after Labor Day in 2008 and didn't have any trouble with the crowds. I'm considering another Labor Day weekend trip to take advantage of free dining, but wondered if the water parks will be busy because of the locals taking advantage of a long weekend. Would one day of the weekend be better to go to water park? For example, might Monday be less crowded than Saturday? Thanks for any help you can give me. I enjoy the show. Keep up the great work. By the way, I recommend Orlando Stroller Rentals to a friend of mine after I heard about them on your show. Just wanted you to know that my friend's family really had a great experience with that company. Thanks for the referral.
Cool.
Oh, good. I actually put Orlando Stroller Rental in the next edition of the book. Their price for double strollers are really, really good.
Yeah. Shannon over there at Orlando Stroller Rentals runs a fantastic company. Definitely take advantage of that if you can.
I'm glad to see you're doing well. So the question about the water parks, weekends I think are much less crowded than weekdays. I think we talked about this on the water park show, didn't we?
Yes. In terms of locals, I mean, I know I have one friend who goes there all the time, but then again,
you might be the one.
He might be the one. I know he like lives at Typhoon Lagoon during the summertime, but I generally think, I understand what you're concerned that weekends locals would go more often than weekdays, but also keep in mind it's Labor Day weekend and it's September, and September is dead. And so I wouldn't really worry about crowds then. I think you're going to be fine either way. I think whatever works out best I think the weekend idea works out real well, but all the days in the weekend for Labor Day weekend I think are fine. So just whatever works best for you, I would say. Well, time for the last email of the day, and that means I pick 3 emails to read, and Mike Newell picks one of them to actually read on today's show. The other 2 go back in the email queue. Are you ready, Mr. Newell?
Let's go.
All right, Mike, here are your options. Off to Neverland, Matt would be deported from Norway, or thank you, Mr. Tester.
Oh, wow. I really want to answer that Norway question because, no. I have a feeling what it's about, but are you confident, Len, in the thank you, Mr. Tester question?
Tester?
Tester. Is it spelled Tester? T-E-S-T-E-R?
Yes.
Then we have to go with that. I'll save the Norwegian lashing for another time.
Norwegian lashing. It just sounds funny.
Last email of the day comes from Eula Sorkin. Writes, hi, just wanted to give a little report on our trip to Walt Disney World and how your great unofficial book has really helped us when we were having a few problems. What follows is part 43H of the complete...
Insomnia? With possible problem... Go ahead.
What follows is part 43H of the complete vacation log of Eula and Ewell Sorkin of Brule, West Virginia. Well, we made it to the Magic Kingdom after a rough hour or two. We're in line at Stitch's Great Escape. Our twins Ian and Ewan just loved that movie. The park is great, and until we got in line here, we had lots of room to move around. Unlike the 8 of us, including Grandma and the tourists on the way down here, boy, we were happy to stretch out in All-Star Sports hotel room. Anyway.
You drove from West Virginia in a Taurus with Grandma.
Strapped to the roof. You know,
like a vacation,
like National Boots Vacation,
holiday road.
Anyway, we're in line here after a few troubles. The twins wanted to do Buzz Lightyear ride, but Grandma can't tolerate spinning, so we left her out under that misting thing outside. It kind of kept her cool in the heat. Well, ride went fine, and the first time around, and the line wasn't too long, and we got out, so we did her again. Unfortunately, that was when the troubles began. You see, Ian gets bad headaches sometimes and even passes out. So Ewan spent the entire whole second ride shooting his laser at Ian, trying to give him a seizure or something. Ian was crying. For all his effort, Ewan only got about 100 points, so he was pretty So with both kids wailing, we got out of the ride and didn't even look at our photos. Uncle Gort said they were not flattering. We found the bright sun when we got out of the building, but eventually found Grandma. Now, Mr. Tester, here's where your book came in a real handy light. You see, Grandma had sat under a misty thing in a little too long, and we found her. Well, she was wet as a cold rag dunked in our well at home. Ewell ran over to a restroom to get a towel, but it was closed. Apparently, with Grandma all drippy, we had nothing to dry her off. But little Ian, who'd stopped crying, grabbed your unofficial guide out of the purse and started ripping pages out and pulling them all over Grandma. It wasn't pretty, but it worked. Within a couple of minutes, sure enough, she was dry, but she kind of looked like one of the mummies. As I recall, it took most of the restaurant section of the book to dry her completely. You might want to note that in the next edition. We were peeling off pages, Grandma here in line for Stitch, just minding our business, when all of a sudden the whole line got all upset. Some little kid was crowding in with some video camera or something. He was just jostling everybody and even stepped on little Ewan's foot when he was pushed by. I saw that a name badge on, so Ewell caught up with him and gave him the Mr. Mongello a piece of his West Virginia mine.
Oh, funny.
Well, anyway, the doors are opening. It's time for the show. Bye now. So
that's funny.
That was a great letter. That's funny.
It's right. Newly you chose very wisely, I should say.
Choose wisely.
That's right. Well, that's it for us today. If you want to find, don't forget that this episode of WDW Today is being sponsored by MEI and Mouse Fan Travel, and perhaps you're planning a trip to somewhere else that Disney goes to besides Disney World. Maybe the Disney Cruise Line, Disneyland, Adventures by Disney. You know, the travel agents at MEI and Mouse Fan Travel can help you plan trips to all those vacations. I mean, they have experts who are well versed in all those locations. So maybe you might be an expert in Disney World, but Adventures by Disney is new to you. Well, they can help you plan that too. Why not give them a try? Visit them online at www.mousefantravel.com. Go to find our older episodes, read our show notes, or send us your comments. Visit the WDW Today website at wdwtoday.com. For Len Testa, Mike Scopa, and Mike Newell, I'm Matt Hochberg. We'll see you on the next show.
Stupid Judy, stupid energy.
This has been a production of Mouse World Radio.